Whose crew was realest? Shout out the movie theaters. Times Square 88. Whose crew was in it? Photographers sitting on wood wicked chairs. 40 ounce in the lap, giving off wicked stares. Punch out kings, busting pistols in the air. Hanging out a Cutlass Supreme window like bitch, come here. Girls cussing back at us with the fattest asses. Like who you calling bitch, little black bastards? We had to wave the flag. Here come their baby dads, drug dealers in the crazy jag, looking crazy mad. They all thought they was Sparkle, fucking killer men. But we was all black Caesars, Fred Williamsons. It was so simple. Now I'm reflecting in this gold Enzo. Face it, my favorite trinket was that Teddy Riley God bracelet. So now it's fly shit I'm draped in. Customized shit I'm making. War is necessary, war brings pain. War is necessary, war brings peace. Cause war is necessary, get your warriors up. Cause my niggas are war ready, war brings hate. Cause war is necessary, war brings peace. Cause war is necessary, war brings pain. Cause war is necessary, get your warriors up. Cause my niggas are war ready.
Playing the hottest hip-hop in the streets, it's the Go-In Brother #1, Mr. C.
Hey man, I know y'all heard this song like a million times, but we're gonna play it for you again and again and again. Flashing lights, Kanye West.
She don't believe in shooting stars, but she believe in shoes and cars. Wood floors in the new apartment. Couture from the store's departments. You more like love to start shit. I'm more of the trips to Florida. Order the hors d'oeuvres, views of the water. Straight from a page of your favorite author. And the weather's so breezy. Man, why can't life always be this easy? She in the mirror dancing so sleazy. I get a call like, where are you, Yeezy? And try to hit you with the old wafty. Till I got flashed by the paparazzi. Damn, these niggas got me. I hate these niggas more than the rest. All I know you wanna show off, but I never thought that you would take it this far. What do I know? I know it's been a while, sweetheart. We hardly talk. I was doing my thing. I know I was foul, baby. Hey, baby, lately you've been all on my brain. And if somebody would've told me a month ago, frontin' oh, yo, I wouldn't wanna know. If somebody would've told me a year ago, it'd go get this difficult. Feeling like Katrina with no FEMA. Like Martin with no Tina. Like a flight with no visa. First class with the seat back, I still see ya. In my past, you on the other side of the glass.
That's
of my
good for the win spot, brothers.
I'm just saying, hey Mona Lisa, come home. You know you can't roam without Caesar.
Oh, man.
But I never thought that you would take it this far. What do I know?
What do I do?
Yo, do me a favor. Accidentally step on your white sunglasses. We don't wear those over here. This is hip hop. This is Carhartt jackets, Timberland boots, unlaced. This is champion hoodies, chicken wings and French fries. Here's the hip hop remix right here. Joel Ortiz, Saigon, Jadakiss. Let's do it.
Everybody running their mouth about how they real. Ringtones blowing the doors of album sales. Need to be telling the people about how they feel. That's how it all started. I'm surprised they failed. Yeah, music just ain't what it used to. It used to have songs that you could shoplift or boost to. This is the truth too. Listen, we gon' pop in the juice street. Run up in the mall, get loose, boo. Hard streets, hard times, beats and hard rhymes. 5% is teaching the guard lines. 2 turntables are mixing. 2 speakers. Haze didn't exist yet. Hey Blue Reaper, pink champagne, plenty of malt liquor. Extension cord was ran through grandma's kitchen. Fashion statements, back from safety. Now we got royal fashion faces.
Oh man, this is hip hop. Hands up if you forever a fan of hip hop. I wake up hip hop, go to sleep hip hop, dream about hip hop, cause I am hip hop. Oh man, is hip-hop. Hands up if you forever a fan of hip-hop. I wake up hip-hop, go to sleep hip-hop. Dream about hip-hop, cause I am hip-hop. Say hip-hop. Started out in the park. Man, I knew it was going down from the start. I be backstage with that extra pound in my heart. Butterflies, what a vibe when I tear that whole crowd apart. It's hip-hop. My lips got problems, I spit hot shit. Watch the Kid Rock albums, I heard verses and bruised flows. Who knows what's next and when? I'm like an NBA game, nothing less than 10. Like all kind of diseases infest my pen, I'm sick. I gotta spit, I can't digest my slimness gift. To be a curse if you don't use it right, so quote me now. Still half these dudes unite and let the lion out the cage and drag it from out the cage. Dudes worship them, girls be dragging them off the stage. You dudes weak, you ruin beats, you don't hurt the knack. Get your producer my contracts, I'll murder that. This is hip-hop, hands up if you forever a fan of hip-hop. I wake up hip-hop, go to sleep hip-hop. Dream about hip-hop, cause I am hip-hop. This is hip-hop, hands up if you forever a fan of hip-hop. I wake up hip-hop, go to sleep hip-hop. Dream about hip-hop, cause I am hip-hop.
Just when y'all thought Queensbridge was a rat, now I came back, bridging the gap. Joey Crack told the whole map to lean back. For a second, you would have thought New York was taking the scene back. Even John dropped a mean track. They went, I'm from New York, the first city to have heads to fiend for crack. Now I hear about us, who's a blood, who's a crip. Religious leaders only teach half of the truth and shit. I'd rather rock a fake gold crucifix than them platinum white Jesus faces. He rap like he's a racist or a philosopher that reads the pages. But that knowledge I try to keep away from me for ages. Oh man, it's like I'm in a race against time. Couple years ago I couldn't wait to get signed. I thought automatically that my face would get shine. But being lyrical was just a waste of slick rhyme. But so, still I annihilate though. Annihilate the place with the fireplace flow. The day y'all can fuck with me or Joel or T, that's the day hell on free.
Oh man, this is hip-hop, hands up if you forever a fan of hip-hop. I wake up hip-hop, go to sleep hip-hop. Dream about hip-hop, cause I am hip-hop. Oh man.
Yeah, the beat is tight. This is the beat. 102.7.
I'm moving on $1 billion. I'm feeling this joint right here, man. Fat Joe, Lil Wayne. Listen, man, if you're flying in and out of Francis International Airport, it's like a war zone out there. Be careful, man, if you're flying in and out of Liberty City. Oh no, oh Joe, he did it, he's back in the back of that black Maybach tripping. Now blow that motherfucking cuss up in the sky. La 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 la. Bumping that Kanye, you can tell me nothing, right? La 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 la. Yeah, he ain't on a shotgun, and I'm riding shotgun. Who's these banana clips? What? I got some bullets, a wholesale, food stamps, coupon. Yellow mustard phantom car, ink gray, coupon. I can make it back, man, Jones in here too long. We up 100 grand whenever I hear a new song. Come on, that's too many ringtones. 2.8, what you want me to tell you? Make it rain, Mariana, go and grab an umbrella. Ella, holy shit. So much coke, the nigga had to shovel it. So much coke, the nigga changed his government. Now we can all sing along for the fuck of it. Crack.
Hey, this is the crack house. Welcome to the crack house. Man, I'm smoking more pies than a frat house. This is the problem. This is not music. I hope you find it, cause he about to lose it. Joey done do it. Joey done did it. Joey keep doing it until you're done with it. Bring him to the crack house. Show him the crack house. Take him to the crack house. We in the crack house.
You gotta touch your toes or I'm out. Fucking club, I got a strip pole in my house. 6 million ways to make it rain. Hold up. Conflicts in my team from Angola. Convicts in my way where we roll up. And they hustle, yeah, not fight to mid woda. Fat cause I'm so rich cause I'm so hood. Who do you hold with? Nigga on that hood. You flow Joe, but Joe flow sicker. People ripping at me like Joe's cat nigga. John Gotti, Supreme Team Show. These are the niggas you compare to Joe.
Hello, this is the crack house. Welcome to the crack house. I mean, something more pies than a frat house. This is the problem. This is not music. I hope you find it, cause he about to lose it. Joey don't do it. Joey done did it. Joey keeps doing it until you're done with it. Bring him to the crack house. It's the crack house. Welcome to the crack house. We in the crack house. Get him. Joey, just get him. Get on them. And if they piss you off, shit on them. And if they piss you off, shit on them.
Hey, Reese, just stop right there. Shit, I'll let them go, get the whole block clear. These niggas
Wood. Big up to all my cats representing Ballhead. And shout out to everybody representing Al Dirty. Mr. C mixing live on the beat. Let's get into this right here. It's an exclusive Mob Deep joint, and you heard it here first with the finish of Mr. C on the beat. Fuck all them other radio stations. The beat is what it is. Mob Deep, shout out to my man Prodigy. Let's do it.
Baby mama, let's roll. Here we go, cheerio, cheerio. Killer with the flow, in the blow, in the throw, in the gun, go ring, hit them all in the row. AK, 47, 40 Glock, 44. Let it know from the dough, how it go, not a joke. This gonna be a homicide. I'ma ride, I'ma wrap me a nigga up in the box and send him to his folks, his blood, to his kin. The drama, it don't end. Bust a gun, bust a nigga face open with the hand. Tell him go, tell a friend, tell a cop, tell a feds. I don't give them all fucks. You niggas in the pigs. I'ma let the world see you a bitch, you a snitch. I'm a Mob Deep gangster, infamous soldier. If you got a cold heart, then my shit froze over. Range Rover 7 Suburban, bulletproof brand. The windows on the crib, bulletproof down. You fucking with a dirty New Yorker. Queens in this bitch, fall back and get broke up. You fucking with a dirty New Yorker. Queens motherfucker, move and get smoked up. You fucking with a dirty New Yorker. Queens in this bitch, fall back and get broke up.
Oh man, this one is a heat rock right here, Liberty City. This one is a heat rock.
Als je ei eet en dan eet ik kip op. Je wilt niet willen praten, want je weet ik ben een drop. Pak je met een boy, hoort je niet in je geschop. Kijk naar de klok, want je weet het is hip-hop. Deze shit is een freestyle, hoe ik het rijm. Dan pak je met mij, je test mij dan een randje. Want pak ik tafel en een bord en die ding in mijn hand. Geen bestek, maar je weet dat ik ook opeten kan. Ja, dat is zo'n trucje dat je wel kan leren. Rustig even aan, want je weet, ik ga me niet scheren. Want ik moet eten, een banaan is lang, ballen is een fonte. Geloof me, het is van hier tot aan de drogen. Uit de weg gelopen, dus we zijn weer terug. Ik ga springen van de bus, in de rug. Dan gaan we landen, we zijn nog geland. Holopat, 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 zo lang en goed, kaluska. Dit is far away, far away. Maar we gaan misschien daar niet heen, daar niet heen.
Always a beat ahead. Never a beat off the beat. 102.
Dit is hot hier, man. Hier gaat het ook weer
Across on the phones and on the text on this tune right here. We celebrate. Ghostface Kid Capri, let's go.
We banging on New Year's Eve, y'all. We just be trailed. Let's go. We hype for just being
Stones on every arm, the crib is 10 million. The corpse and Don Perignon can't reach my ceiling. Four made with 4 grenades. When it turns in my face, all I do is lower the walls for shade. The pose, the pain in the ass. 50 grand on Windex, kid. They keep it clean, the whole bottom is glass. So you can see the sharks, the piranhas, a pair of pajamas. That's my neighbor. The faggot disrespected my mama. No cars in the garage. It's underground shit. The way the floor opened up, you think I'm hiding spaceship. French chefs, the best grapes on their breath. Louis aprons on the yank cats. The puppy cooks the rest. Besides, I got birds that never leave the nest. They fuck on me, I watch it confess. Then I go rest. Get back up to pop them checks. Motherfuckers fucking up a good time and snapping your neck. Come on.
We got to all my cats representing Algonquin. I see y'all out there, man. Mr. C mixing live on the beat. Hey.
like my first time platinum, y'all. Party up, come on. Like my first feature.
Shout out to all the police listening. Y'all got too much power out there, man. Y'all take it easy, all you coppers out there.
Just being here. Money for everybody, candy to the kids. Catch me on Dayline, Starkey too big. I'm like a mannequin, I stay chill. Mansion party for All-Star Weekend in my LA crib. We came to party, went at a goose, we got dollies. Shorty's wetting me, check out her body. Throw up your hands like it's your birthday, mommy. Let's celebrate. Now I got a girlfriend behind me. Now I'm in the middle, watches on chisel. I can holler at the birds like Dr. Doolittle.
What's that in your pocket, Ghost?
A deal pick, not that. Oh, that's the 45 stainless nickel. I'm pulling the green. Got a G for the biggest ass on the floor. Who looks playing in jeans? If you fat, I might take one for the team. But I gotta get drunk first, know what I mean? Come on.
Home of hip hop. In the home of hip hop. Liberty City. This is the beat. 102.7.
And here we go. flow. And here we go. This is the remix right here. Blow your mind. Styles P with D-Block. You don't know who D-Block is? Jadakiss, Chic Luch. D-Block. Let's go.
It's the finisher, Mr. C, going in strong on the beat.
Come on.
What's up, Mr. C? We chillin', listening to what you're doing in Broker. That's right.
Yeah, I already got it. They want power. Pump haze, blow sour. Top floor, the Trump Tower. They style is nasty. That's why they want hours. Sign my name in the book. Send y'all chunks flowers. Light it if it's exotic and blow it till it's gone. I find out who got it and cop a whole John. Yeah, say I didn't warn you. Roll a couple up at the same time so the cycle can go around longer. In weed terms, I'm a couple pounds stronger. All I need is one more connect, California. But I ain't gonna rush. I'ma take my time, stay on my grind, and just blow my mind.
Just blow my mind. Ladies in the air. Blow my mind. Blow my mind. Ladies in the air. So roll something up so you can just blow your mind. Just blow your mind. Ladies in the air. Blow your mind. Ladies in the air.
Stack some money, big Cohiba, call me Eddie Cheever, granddaddy blazing, she Luch amazing, cool Caucasian, system Asian, seats Italian, and a medallion, I be fucking styling. Answer this, who you know better than Kiss, better than P, better than the Silver B, back gorilla, Apollo filler, guarded twice, just that nice, look at the ice, now look at the hammer, I want cheese like you in front of the damn camera, so I see the slammer, black chuckles, one bubble, the guard is here, I hit the block, they got the lighters in the air.
Something up so you can just blow my mind. Ladies in the air. Blow my mind. Blow my mind. Ladies in the air. Blow something up so you can just blow your mind. Just blow your mind. Ladies in the air. Blow your mind. Ladies in the air.
Hold on, man. Wait a minute. We getting a lot of phone calls today, man. Mr. C mixing live on the beat 102.7. We get a lot of phone calls today. A lot of people saying, yo, C, you're representing for every other city, but you're not representing for Broker. Listen, I'm from Broker. I'm born and raised in Broker, so I gotta represent for Broker. Big up to all my Broker cats, and let's play a joint from one of Broker's finest. Papoose, let's go in, and let's go in relentlessly. Broker, stand up.
Shot money, money. Papoose. Shot money, money.
It's Broker's finest DJ, Mr. C.
Shot money, money. Shot money, money. Papoose. Shot money, money. Papoose.
Oh my Broker cats, stand up. Papoose, let's go.
You mad cause I'm styling on you. You mad cause I'm styling on you. Man, you just mad cause I'm styling on you. Yeah, you mad cause I'm styling on you. I wake up in the morning, wipe all the lint out my hair. Then I prepare what type of fly shit I'ma wear. Hop in the shower, hop out, slip in my gear. My chick on the stairs, walk around switching the rear. I sit on my chair, hand on my chin and just stare. My vision is clear, and show me love isn't sincere. These niggas is squares, they know I got the illest ideas. Millionaires, I got enough wisdom to share. They snitching out here, hip-hop cops frisking my peers. These niggas ain't fair, I cannot win if I'm in there. Moves in my ear like Pat in these niggas' career. I'm grinning like, yeah, hell, I'm sending them near. As soon as I got the check, I let it flip when it cleared. You a backstabber, a snake, a pricking you weird. Somebody need to pray for him, I got him in my prayers. That other nigga about to die, I'm putting him in my swears. I got the hammer on my hip, ice on my wrist. Drive a big whip and you ain't got shit. You mad cause I'm styling on you. Yeah, you mad cause I'm styling on you.
Yeah, man, I'm getting ready to raise up out of here, man.
On you.
Shout Shout out to everybody that's been listening, man. Mr. C mixing live on the beat. My man Green Lantern is up next. You know what I mean? Definitely got to shout out all the sports teams. Shout out to the Liberty Penetrators, the Liberty City Raft, the Liberty Swingers, the Liberty City Rampage. Big up to all the Liberty City sports teams. Checking out the finisher, Mr. C live on the beat. Green Lantern is up next, all right?
The beat is the sound of the street. Brought to you by a corporate-owned radio station run by a bunch of failures and ties who couldn't make it as DJs. The beat.
It's equally.
Please be clear. This is an invasion. It's Liberty City, mother.
You wanna ride, let's ride through Liberty City.
The evil genius
I'm in Liberty City.
broke to the Dukes, phone and the shot love. I got niggas saying
It's an invasion.
Turn up your radio. Turn up your radio. Green invasion on the ball.
It's DJ Green Lantern on the beat.
This is an invasion. The evil genius DJ Green Lantern. 102.7 the beat. You already know Dukes, Broker, Shotler, all the boroughs. It's going down today, right here, right now.
Liberty City! It's an invasion!
Yeah, it's the hardest out. What so well? There I put the garbage out in the glad bag of the hefty. Shoot with the lefty. Nobody test me. Yeah, it's the hardest out. What though you well? On the day I put the garbage out in the glad bag of the hefty. Shoot with the lefty. Nobody test me. Told you I cut class. You from your ear to your mustache. Fuck around, nigga. You'll be swallowing crushed glass. Back on my hard shit, back on my yard shit, back on my scarred shit. 30 cents a day, still hitting the bar shit. Nice with a hawk like a Navy SEAL. Who is the target? Make the walls look like it's red meat. Red rug, need a little love, nigga, get you a lead hug. My bullets go crack that, run in the backpack. Fuck all the chit chat, shit got kicked back. Face I split that, kicking in the door, asking where's the bricks at, nigga.
What the fuck is the problem? What the fuck is the problem? What the fuck is the problem? Niggas is getting shot down. What the fuck is the problem? What the fuck is the problem? What the fuck is the problem? Niggas is getting shot down. What the fuck is the
Now, New Japan Pro Wrestling has been completely dominated by a faction known as the Bullet Club. A group mostly composed of foreign wrestlers willing to destroy everyone in Japan, the Bullet Club has become one of the most influential factions in wrestling history, and because of them, well-known stars like the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Jay White, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and many more have risen to the top of pro wrestling. But who created the Bullet Club? Who created this faction that has gone on to revolutionize pro wrestling? Well, it would be none other than the man named Prince Devitt, or as he's better known today, WWE's Finn Balor. Yes, right before the Bullet Club's rise into the stratosphere, Prince Devitt signed with the WWE to forever change the company. He was a megastar in NXT, he was strapped to a rocket on the main roster, and now he sits comfortably on top of WWE with yet another faction dominating the company. My name is Grisha from Wrestleology, and today, let us dive into the WWE career of Finn Balor and see how the real rock and roller turned into the demon that haunts the WWE's main event scene. And it all started in 2014. Upon arrival, he was given instant credibility by aligning himself with a fellow rising star, Hideo Itami. But that's not even the fun part of his debut on the black and gold brand. At the following NXT TakeOver Our Evolution event, Balor teamed up with Itami to take on The Ascension in a high-impact tag team bout. And upon making his entrance, Balor would debut The Demon. This war-painted and violent version of Finn came out and helped Itami defeat The Ascension, and this amazing presentation, combined with Finn's impressive skills in the ring, helped him shoot up to the top of the card with notable victories over Tyler Breeze and Adrian Neville. That is, before Balor was finally primed and ready to challenge Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship. And even though he lost in his first NXT title match against Owens on the March 25th edition of NXT, Balor would have hit much harder in their rematch at the Beast of the East event. So hard, in fact, that Balor would secure the victory over the prize fighter to become the new NXT champion. However, of course, you can't just get rid of Kevin Owens easily. Even though he still debuted on the main roster against John Cena a few months prior, Kevin Owens still felt like he should be the rightful champion on the black and gold brand. So at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, the two once again went to war in a brutal ladder match for the title, and in Kevin's final NXT match, he would suffer a defeat as Finn cemented himself as being the new top guy on NXT. But Balor wasn't content with just being the top single star in NXT. No, he wanted to be a part of the best tag team as well, just to prove that he was the best all-around performer in NXT history. So he entered the newly created Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, a tournament showcasing the best duo in NXT, with the winner getting themselves a trophy to commemorate the victory. And heading into the tournament, Balor turned attention towards perhaps the most dangerous man in NXT at the time, Samoa Joe. Joe and Balor would completely crush the competition, defeating the team of Baron Corbin and Rhino in the finals at NXT TakeOver Respect to win the entire tournament. However, this dominating team wouldn't last too much longer following the win, and following a successful defense against Apollo Crews on an episode of NXT, Balor would end on the receiving end of a thunderous clothesline by Samoa Joe himself. Joe turned heel for the first time in NXT, and it was all in service of one thing: becoming the NXT champion. So the match was made official as these two former allies would battle over the gold at NXT TakeOver London, and after a hard-hitting fight, Balor was finally able to retain the title against arguably his biggest rival in NXT. The feud would linger though, as following this explosive win in London, the two would head back over to the States for their rematch at TakeOver Dallas. On a show where American Alpha beat the Revival in an amazing tag team match, Asuka defeated Bayley to start her journey as NXT's next big monster, and Shinsuke Nakamura made his in-ring debut against Sami Zayn, the main event match between Balor and Joe would unfortunately fail to live up to the hype. Throughout the bout, the match would continuously be stopped by medical officials after Joe infamously received a cut that continuously needed to be treated. Eventually, though, Balor was able to counter the Coquina clutch in order to retain once again. However, despite having two clean victories over him, Joe still had one last match in him, and he would once again challenge Finn Balor to an NXT championship bout after Balor broke the then record as NXT's longest reigning champion. And in a shocking move, Joe would actually defeat Balor at an untelevised event in Lowell, Massachusetts to become the next NXT champion. And at TakeOver The End, Balor would once again suffer a defeat at the hands of Samoa Joe in the first ever steel cage match in NXT history. His final chance at being NXT's top champion was squandered as he would suffer his first loss as the Demon character. The writing was on the wall for Balor as his time in NXT was coming to an end, but the fans wouldn't have to worry for too long, because when one door closes, another one opens. And Balor would burst through those doors like a rocket blasting off into space, because in 2016, Finn was drafted over to Raw to finally make his debut on the main roster, and within a month, Finn was placed at the top of the card. At SummerSlam 2016, his debut pay-per-view, Balor was battling Seth Rollins to become the first ever Universal Champion. And while many fans probably expected Seth to win at this time, with Balor having to earn his stripes in WWE, that's not what happened. Instead, shockingly, Balor defeated Rollins to become the Universal Champion. For comparison, it took Brock Lesnar 4 months to become a world champion on the main roster. For Balor, it took 1. He was positioned as the next top star in WWE, and fans were excited to see what he'll do next. Unfortunately, though, Balor's time on top did not last long. Less than 24 hours, as a matter of fact. And this was because during the match with Seth, Balor suffered a shoulder tear that put him out of action for 6 months as he was stripped of the title. However, on April 3rd, 2017, Balor would finally make his way back onto television with an explosive return tag team match alongside the man who injured him in the first place, Seth Rollins. But Balor would have bigger things on his mind, of course, as he wanted to once again place himself on top of the roster. So, at Extreme Rules 2017, Finn took part in a #1 contenders match against Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Bray Wyatt for Brock Lesnar's Universal Championship. Unfortunately for him, though, he would lose that match and not get a title shot. And things didn't look too much better following Extreme Rules, as Balor would kick off a program with Elias leading into SummerSlam. Yes, the man who was given the world upon arrival just a year prior was now stuck in a lower mid-card feud against Elias. A feud that bizarrely, by the way, he lost, as during a no disqualification match between himself and Elias, Balor was attacked by his next target, Bray Wyatt. Sure, it's a much better position for Balor than his rivalry with Elias, but a feud with Bray around this time still felt a little underwhelming. Bray had already started to crack as a character, with fans slowly tuning out Wyatt around this time, and this was not only proven even more following Finn's victory over Bray at SummerSlam, but Bray was just not going to let Balor go until he finally found himself on the receiving satisfying end of a victory. And despite losing to Finn at both SummerSlam and No Mercy, Bray would once again look to take on Finn at the upcoming TLC event. And the build into TLC was strange, to say the least, as Bray challenged Finn to one more match. However, Bray wasn't planning on coming alone. While Balor had his alternate demon persona to help guide him into big matches, Bray has the spirit of Sister Abigail, and at TLC he planned on using her assistance in his fight against Finn. However, thankfully we didn't get to see that. While the idea was interesting in theory, fans were very concerned leading into the event about what this could all mean for Bray's character. But I guess not even Mother Nature wants to see Sister Abigail in a wrestling ring, as Bray Wyatt was pulled from the match at the last minute due to an illness that sort of took over the roster leading into the event. But what WWE gave us to make up for this loss of Wyatt on the card was far greater than anyone expected. He was replaced by AJ Styles. Well, created Bullet Club,
the best alive,
hailed as the best member of that group during his time in Japan. So for many diehard wrestling fans, this was a dream match in the making, and the two delivered an amazing singles match before Balor was able to put Styles away and secure a victory over the phenomenal one. And to pay tribute to their Bullet Club history, the two would do the signature Too Sweet hand gesture as a show of respect from two of the best wrestlers in WWE at the time. I did a whole video on AJ's run in the WWE, which you should go ahead and check out. But following this match, as well as a subsequent tag team victory at the following Survivor Series event, Finn got to thinking about his time back in Japan. Arguably the greatest time period in his career, Finn was a dominating presence as the creator of the Bullet Club. He was seemingly unstoppable, aligning himself with some dangerous men as they looked to rise to the top of New Japan. So Balor decided that he would once again create a version of Bullet Club to rule over Monday Night Raw, alongside two other former members of the Japanese group in Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. The newly formed Balor Club would look to prove their worth with brilliant displays of skill. Balor proved that time and time again, putting on excellent performances in both the 2018 Royal Rumble match and inside the Elimination Chamber the following month. And leading into WrestleMania, Balor looked to finally capture some gold following that disastrous 24-hour run as the Universal Champion. So he took part in arguably one of the most underrated triple threat matches in wrestling history against The Miz and Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. However, once again, he would suffer a loss after an excellent performance with Rollins securing the win. And Balor just kept continuing this trend of great performances and disappointing losses. At the greatest Royal Rumble, he lost a fatal four-way match for the IC title. At Money in the Bank, he failed to capture the Money in the Bank briefcase. He had fallen so far down the card due to these constant losses that a feud with Baron Corbin was the only thing he could do to gain any sort of credibility. Thankfully then, Balor was able to get some big pay-per-view victories over the Lone Wolf with wins at both Extreme Rules and SummerSlam. However, despite these big victories against Corbin, Balor still failed to gain any sort of momentum. Despite having a Universal Championship match against Roman Reigns the night after SummerSlam, which he unfortunately lost, Balor would end up circling the mid-card scene for months on end. He had a couple of matches here and there, even feuding with Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler for a spell, but he just couldn't find that one thing to push him to that next level. Before we continue, I want to let you guys know that today's video is sponsored by Atlas VPN. I would hate for any of my subscribers to have their data stolen online, and Atlas VPN can actually help to protect you by keeping your Google searches as well as your location data private. Not only that, but it has many other cool features as well, such as blocking malicious links, ads, or trackers while you're browsing, save you some money during checkout while doing some online shopping, and even help you unblock content from all over the world that might not be available in your country. And all of this is available for only $1.83 per month, making this the absolute best VPN deal in the market. Got multiple devices? Yeah, that's not really a problem because just a single subscription is needed to protect all of your devices. I personally use Atlas VPN actively on my computer and iPhone, not only to protect myself, but to also access shows on Netflix that aren't available in the US. All I have to do is select my preferred region and flip the on switch. It's that easy. And because they love our content and community, if you click my link in the description down below, you get Atlas VPN for less than $2 a month, plus 3 months extra for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied. But it is limited, so be sure to check it out ASAP. Thank you so much, Atlas VPN. Balor even made a one-off appearance in NXT UK as a surprise opponent for Jordan Devlin at TakeOver Blackpool. With this feeling, that feeling that you can only find in NXT UK, perhaps it helps remind Balor of his roots. Not just as a former leader of the Black and Gold brand, but also as a young man who fought all over Europe in the early days of his career. Perhaps that, and just just a little bit of luck is all he needed. And that luck came in the form of actually an injury. In the lead up to the 2019 Royal Rumble event, Braun Strowman was scheduled to battle Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. However, Braun was pulled out of the match, and a number one contenders match was held on a Raw that Balor won. And thus, at the pay-per-view, Finn took on the Beast incarnate in what was easily one of the best matches in Brock Lesnar's entire run as Universal Champion. Sure, he once again suffered a loss to the Beast, but Finn had reminded everyone with this match that he was still a main event player. And with this high-profile match, Balor positioned himself back up the card and into the Intercontinental Championship scene. A year prior, he shared the ring with Seth Rollins and The Miz when they fought for the title. However, at WrestleMania 35, Balor found himself not against two men, but one almighty destroyer. Balor went toe-to-toe with Bobby Lashley, defeating him in minutes as he once again wore the demonic war paint to terrorize his opponent. During this reign, Balor would continue to put on dream matches as he defended the IC title against the likes of Sami Zayn, Andrade Cien Almas, and Mustafa Ali. But after holding the title for a couple months, Balor would finally lead his match in a battle against Shinsuke Nakamura on the Extreme Rules Kickoff show. Yes, a match between Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura happened on the Extreme Rules Kickoff show, which is criminal in my opinion. I mean, this was a match that would easily fit on a WrestleMania card, and it just goes to show how far down Finn had fallen by this point. Despite being Intercontinental Champion, Balor was still just seen as a mid-card guy in WWE for some reason. And even though Balor would have probably loved to recapture the gold, Balor would instead face a whole new challenge in his lead-up to SummerSlam. For months prior, Bray Wyatt has been slowly introducing the WWE Universe to the Firefly Funhouse, a very interesting and creative show where Bray, acting as a children's TV host, would win over the fans as an eerie presence live just below the surface of Bray's new show. An eerie presence that was finally given a name during Bray's match with Finn at SummerSlam, The Fiend. The Fiend was the most destructive force in WWE upon arrival, with this new monster debuting in that match against Finn. And what we saw was a brutal display of violence and domination unlike anything we've seen before. Finn Balor was destroyed by The Fiend, quickly disappearing following the match, with fans both excited about the future of The Fiend and concerned about Balor. After a 2-month hiatus though, Balor finally made his return to the WWE as he once again walked through the doors of NXT. Yes, after a lackluster run on the main roster, Balor would return to NXT to hopefully reignite that spark that he had all the way back during his first run as NXT champion. Upon his return, he would quickly target the biggest names in NXT at the time, including the then NXT champion Adam Cole. But Cole wasn't the only man that Balor wanted to compete against. And in shocking news, Balor would end up turning heel on the top babyface of the brand by injuring Johnny Gargano. He explained that the NXT roster had been weak in his absence, there lacked the toughness on the black and gold brand. Well, perhaps the toughest man in NXT at the time took that sentiment to heart as he challenged Balor for a match at NXT TakeOver War Games. That man was Matt Riddle. However, despite putting on an excellent match against Finn, the new Prince of NXT left a mark on the brand by defeating the King of Bros. Finn was easily one of the hottest things going in WWE at the time, and his star power led him straight into the NXT title scene as he challenged Adam Cole on the December 18th episode of NXT. However, Balor would be unsuccessful in his pursuit for the title, as Johnny Gargano would make his shocking return to cost Balor the title. And thus, the match was finally set for TakeOver Portland, Balor versus Gargano. After an excellent back and forth bout, Balor would once again earn himself a victory by defeating Johnny. But it seemed like Finn had angered too many people in the locker room with his presence, as on the April 22nd episode of NXT, he was announced as unfit to compete that night due to a backstage attack on the Prince. Over the next few weeks, fans speculated who could have been the attacker. Was it Velveteen Dream, Cameron Grimes, perhaps even Adam Cole? But no. Instead, it was a man who will become more familiar with Balor over the next couple of years that was revealed the attacker, and that was Damian Priest. Through this attack, Balor turned back into a babyface as he looked to get his revenge on Priest. And at TakeOver In Your House, Balor indeed got his revenge by defeating Priest in yet another blowaway performance. And following another quick victory of Timothy Thatcher at TakeOver 30, Balor would once again set his sights on championship gold. Following Karrion Kross's injury at TakeOver 30, a fatal 4-way Iron Man match was announced for Super Tuesday 2 to determine who would win the newly vacated championship. Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and Finn Balor Balor all shared the ring that night, with Balor shockingly getting the victory to once again be crowned NXT champion. And like his first run as champion, Balor looked to impress everyone as he held on to the gold. At TakeOver 31, Balor put on arguably Kyle O'Reilly's best NXT singles match in his defense of the title. Following some surgery on his jaw that he broke within that match, Balor was returned to continue defending his title. At TakeOver Vengeance Day, the winning ways of Finn Balor would continue as he defeated the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne in a hard-hitting technical encounter. He'd even proved to be the better man against Adam Cole in his defense against him on the March 10th episode of NXT. However, the gold always belonged to one man that would soon be returned from the depths of hell to take back what is his, and at TakeOver Stand and Deliver, Balor's reign would come to an end as the returning Karrion Kross would defeat Balor to reposition himself as NXT's top monster. And following a rematch with Kross, Balor would once again leave NXT, with Kross defeating him on his way out the door and back towards the main roster. Balor had reinvented himself in NXT, once again establishing himself as the top guy in the company. So it was no surprise that when Balor returned to SmackDown, with his focus now being on the Universal Championship. But there was one problem with that. If he wanted to get that title, he had to go through the tribal chief Roman Reigns. Yes, this was a very different version of Roman than he was used to. Sadistic, manipulative, and arguably at his peak athletically. So when it came to actually taking on the tribal chief, Finn was unable to match up against this new version of Roman. Roman's skills, plus a fair bit of luck, led him to beating Balor on multiple occasions, with their feud blowing off at Extreme Rules in a match that has one of the most bizarre finishes in Finn's entire career. When gearing up for a coup de grace, the turnbuckle just exploded underneath him. When he got back on his feet, Roman quickly brought him back down to the mat and retained the title. Balor, after rising to NXT, fell victim to Roman, and as the demon at that. But despite this loss, Balor was still looking to keep his position as the top star in the WWE. And after being drafted over to Raw, Balor looked to once again dominate the competition by competing in the King of the Ring tournament. But despite making it all the way to the finals, Balor still came up short at Crown Jewel against Xavier Woods. However, despite of this setback, Balor soon found himself embroiled in the championship scene once again, as he would kick off a feud with Damian Priest to become United States champion this time. He soon lost the title back to Priest. However, just as Priest was looking to also rise up the card, and while Balor was left off the WrestleMania 38 card, his rival and Priest would form Judgment Day alongside Edge, and soon after Rhea Ripley. Balor, however, still had unfinished business with Priest and would start to target Judgment Day alongside AJ Styles and Liv Morgan. And this war against Judgment Day would continue through Hell in a Cell, where Styles, Balor, and Morgan suffered a major loss to the new heel group running Raw. However, through this match, Balor came to a realization that alongside Priest and Rhea, he would be unstoppable. A major loss to the new heel group running Raw. However, through this match, Balor came to a realization that alongside Priest and Rhea, he would be unstoppable. So, Balor turned his back on the fans and joined Judgment Day the very next night. But he wasn't just joining the group. No, he was replacing someone in that group. Rhea, Priest, and Balor promptly attacked Edge and kicked him out of the group, as Balor stood strong alongside this new generation of talent. Over the coming months, Edge would feud with Judgment Day, but with the numbers game proving too much for the Rated R superstar, Edge would call upon his good friend Rey Mysterio, as well as Rey's son Dominic, to join him in destroying the faction that he helped create. And this new trio of Rey, Dominic, and Edge actually proved to be rather successful against Judgment Day. Judgment Day would lose to this new force at both SummerSlam and Clash at the Castle. However, over the prior few months leading into Clash at the Castle, Judgment Day had been slowly getting into the head of Dominic Mysterio. They made him question everything he knew about Edge, his father, and even himself. And following the tag team match at Clash at the Castle, Dominic shocked the world by turning his back on Edge and Rey to join Judgment Day. Judgment Day was now a full power, with Dominic proving to be the missing piece for the group. But the rivalry with Edge was far from over for Finn. They continued to battle in these absolutely brutal affairs over the next couple of months. At Extreme Rules, Balor would defeat Edge in an I Quit match by attacking Edge's wife, Beth Phoenix, until he gave the victory to Balor. And then Edge would disappear for a little bit following this, tending to his wounds as well as Beth's well-being. In the meantime, though, Balor would have his hands full with AJ Styles. Yes, the two men had become somewhat spiritually linked by this point due to their past Bullet Club affiliations, and now Finn wanted AJ to join him in this new group. However, unlike Dominic Mysterio, AJ refused to join. Instead, he opted to side with the returning Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson as he reformed the OC. But despite the OC returning only a few weeks prior, they would unfortunately lose to Judgment Day in a trios match at Crown Jewel. AJ refused to stay down though, well, choosing to continue his battle with Balor heading into Survivor Series, where the two would once again put on an exciting match. This time, though, it was AJ Styles who earned the victory. The feud between the OC and the Judgment Day would ultimately conclude on the following episode of Raw, as Judgment Day defeated the OC in an 8-person mixed tag team match. But as soon as Balor gets rid of one problem, another one arises, because during the Royal Rumble match in 2023, Edge would make his return and eliminate Balor from the match. The feud between Edge and Balor was still going on, and the intensity between both men had completely boiled over. Balor made it personal by involving Edge's wife into the feud, and now he would have to pay, as the power couple of Edge and Beth defeated Balor and Ripley at Elimination Chamber. But with WrestleMania 39 just around the corner, fans knew that this feud between Balor and Edge would have to conclude in a violent way. So, at WrestleMania Goes Hollywood, the two men would wage war within the confines of a Hell in a Cell structure, but while Balor lost this match against Edge, you have to assume that Balor will once again find his footing alongside the Judgment Day. I also completely don't agree with that loss and think that he definitely should have won that match. When looking back on Balor's career in WWE, it's really hard to tell if it was a success. Sure, Balor was an all-time great NXT champion. Sure, he was the first ever WWE Universal Champion. However, Balor always struggled on the main roster for some reason. Because yes, down in NXT, Balor was unstoppable as the top guy for the brand. On Raw and SmackDown, he was always the victim of both bad booking and bad luck, honestly. He was strapped to a rocket upon arrival, but after his shoulder injury at SummerSlam 2016, it almost feels like the higher-ups gave up on him, and he was never really able to capture that magic again. But now that he has joined Judgment Day, it feels like that spark is starting to come back a little bit with Balor. Alongside Ripley, Priest, and Dominic, Balor has had a fire lit underneath him. Is he going to win the world title again one day? I would love to think so, but if not, it's still amazing to see him as a veteran of the business as he continues to help out the next generation of WWE superstars. Balor has always been one of my favorite wrestlers, and that demon gimmick is so crazy to me, and I really hope that WWE utilizes him in a more meaningful way soon, because he is a once-in-a-generation talent, and while he's fumbled on the main roster, fans still have this natural gravitation towards him. Balor is one of the best members of the WWE roster currently, in my opinion, and it still feels like there's a lot to look forward to for the Prince. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you enjoyed.
Our wrestler's attire is one of the most important elements of their presentation and character. The attire should represent the wrestler and should be memorable for all the right reasons. However, not every wrestler has had an attire that is flattering, and sometimes a wrestler begins to wear an attire that is so poor that it can sometimes lead to fans questioning what on earth that wrestler was thinking. The majority of the attires in this list were worn only once, as the wrestler realized just how unbelievably bad their attire looked on WWE television. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 of the worst WWE attires that we all forgot about. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, WrestleMania Shorts. Number 10, Baron Corbin. Now in 2022, WWE made the bold decision to pair Baron Corbin with former WWE Champion JBL. This was a captivating choice for WWE to make, as Corbin was in a state of limbo, and JBL hadn't been an on-air character in a considerable amount of time. The October 17th, 2022 edition of Raw saw Corbin and JBL come down to the ring ahead of Corbin's match with Dolph Ziggler, but fans weren't talking about Corbin and JBL's partnership. All they could focus on was the horrendous attire that Corbin was wearing. Corbin was wearing long pants and a vest, but the color scheme was black and cream, and it looked absolutely hideous. This lit social media on fire, with fans questioning the attire and wondering if Corbin had been forced to wear it. Thankfully, Corbin has since retired the less than stellar attire, and hopefully it's been disposed of and never to be seen again. Let's also not forget about JBL's suit pants. This lit social media on fire, with fans questioning the attire and wondering if Corbin had been forced to wear it. Thankfully, Corbin has since retired the less than stellar attire, and hopefully it's been disposed of and never to be seen again. Let's also not forget about JBL's suit pants fail. They were memed within seconds. Number 9, script. When news broke that WWE were going to repackage main roster star Reggie, fans were excited. Reggie managed to get himself over on the main roster, and NXT was a perfect platform for him to take his character even further. In a daring move, WWE decided to completely repackage him. Reggie would now become a character known as Scripps. Scripps was a rebellious figure who was threatening to bring down NXT. Unfortunately, Scripps would wear an attire that completely killed the mystique of what was supposed to be an interesting character. He'd wear a black and orange outfit with a mask that looked like it was about to fall off his head. And the main issue with the outfit wasn't just that it was unflattering to look at, it was evidently poorly made. Reggie had a big chance of getting over with the character, but there was simply no way fans were going to accept the character if he was wearing that attire. Scripps only wrestled a total of 2 matches on NXT since his debut, so that goes to show how NXT officials have already lost faith in the character. Number 8, Christian. The December 6, 2004 edition of Raw was run by guest general manager Chris Jericho. During Jericho's reign of power, he would force his arch-rival Christian to wrestle Shelton Benjamin with just one catch. Christian would be forced to dress as Captain Charisma. This was in essence a superhero outfit and it looked dreadful on TV. In his defense, he was able to make the attire work, and he and WWE themselves never once pretended like the attire was anything special. The finish of the match saw Christian hilariously get blinded by his own mask, allowing Benjamin to hit the T-bone suplex for the victory. Number 7, The Big Show. Now, The Big Show's pairing with Chris Jericho received widespread praise from fans. The two had natural chemistry together, and what was crazy about the pairing was that it was never even planned. Jericho was set to team with Edge before an injury put Edge on the injured list, and then Jericho pushed for Kane to become his new tag partner. But it was Vince McMahon who ultimately decided to pair Jericho with The Big Show, which was the right move, and Jericho has gone on to call The Big Show his greatest tag team partner. During this time, The Big Show would wear some questionable outfits, including one specific attire at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in 2009. Big Show would wear a purple and black singlet for Jericho's match with Batista and Rey Mysterio, and this match the colors just didn't work. It was incredibly distracting and made the former world champion look incredibly ridiculous in the ring. Number 6, Kane. A Kane evolving into corporate Kane just didn't work. It was incredibly distracting and made the former world champion look incredibly ridiculous in the ring. Number 6, Kane. A Kane evolving into corporate Kane was one of the most controversial decisions WWE have made over the past decade. This just didn't work. It was incredibly distracting and made the former world champion look incredibly ridiculous in the ring. Number 6, Kane. A Kane evolving into corporate Kane was one of the most controversial decisions WWE have made over the past decade. Kane's sinister, demonic character would be pushed aside in favor of corporate Kane. He was now an authority figure in WWE working for Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. This character change received huge backlash from fans. He was just now an ordinary guy, and WWE completely abandoned the exciting elements of his character. But one of the worst elements of his new character was his attire, as it was truly one of the worst attire choices in WWE history. Kane would wear suit pants and sometimes even wear business slacks on his feet. There was no way that the former WWE champion was comfortable wrestling in such a restrictive outfit. In early 2014, Kane's attire would get even worse, as he would begin to wear a white vest with his attire in 2 specific matches against Daniel Bryan. This was not remotely flattering, and thankfully Kane quickly removed this from his attire, as the feedback was less than positive. Number 5, Kurt Hawkins. The build to Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder versus the Revival match at WrestleMania 35 was virtually non-existent. The two teams would collide on a pre-show for the Raw Tag titles, and this was the match which infamously saw Hawkins finally win a match in WWE after losing 269 consecutive matches. Whilst this should have been a great moment, there was something overshadowing the entire thing, and that was Hawkins' attire. Hawkins debuted a special attire for WrestleMania 35. It was a green singlet that made Hawkins look like a member of the Spirit Squad. Hawkins' partner Ryder was wearing white and gold trunks with black boots, which meant that Hawkins' attire choice just looked completely ridiculous and in complete contrast to his. Number 4, Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross's initial run on the main roster can be summed up in one word: disastrous. WWE, well, specifically Vince McMahon, would strip away everything that made Kross special in NXT in favor of his own personal vision. Kross would debut new attire, which would feature a bizarre helmet during his entrance and then suspenders for his in-ring attire. Fans loathed this attire choice, as Kross looked like a novelty act and there was no way fans were going to take him seriously. Kross himself strongly detested the attire, and he would discuss this during an appearance on the 2-Man Power Trip podcast, as he revealed,
"Well, what I was told was this was going to be an upgraded version of what I was doing in NXT. Upgraded. A bigger and better version of what I did. And
Hè? Ja. Ja, ja. Motherfucker.